The COVID-19 vaccine continues to be one of the biggest topics of conversation these days, and there's a lot of bad information floating around. Tonight, consumer investigator Steve Spracia looks at some of the vaccine myths you may have encountered.
Social media continues to spread false information about the coronavirus vaccine, and the only way to push back is with science and facts. So here are a couple of myths that we're going to debunk.
Myth 1. The vaccines were rushed. It took about 9 months for the vaccines to go from theory to reality. How did it happen so quickly without dangerous shortcuts being taken? The answer, scientists followed normal procedures, but without the red tape.
The FDA was also evaluating in real time and the drug companies were evaluating in real time as the subjects were enrolled into the study, getting evaluated. So everything was real-time data instead of waiting till the end of the study, accumulating the data and looking at the data later on.
Myth 2. The vaccine causes COVID-19.
It is impossible to acquire COVID from the vaccine.
Unlike other vaccines, which use a portion of a virus to create immunity, these vaccines were developed differently. They used messenger RNA to instruct cells to make spike proteins, which then trigger an immune response to the virus. Thus, there is no COVID-19 virus in the vaccines. Myth 3. The vaccines won't work against mutations. Just this past weekend, news broke about a mutation of the virus overseas, which is much more easily transmissible. The UK is currently on major lockdown, and people fear the new vaccines won't work against this mutation. Virologists say that's just not true.
I don't think it's a major issue. I think it's interesting from a virologist's point of view, looking at how the mutation changes over time, but it doesn't really affect clinical severity. It almost certainly doesn't affect the vaccine response and protection.
But just to make sure, scientists are checking the new vaccines to make sure they will stand up to this mutation. Working for you, I'm consumer investigator Steve Spracia.
All right, thanks, Steve. The pandemic is making it even harder to find popular holiday toys this year. The nation's top toy sellers are facing an extreme toy shortage.